Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Mom Boss Monday. I took a week off, but now I'm back and better than ever with this new video, 10 ways to get and stay motivated. If you lack motivation to get your work done, to do the things that you need to do to accomplish your goals, if you feel unmotivated, these 10 tips that I'm sharing with you today will help you get out of that rut so that you can feel inspired again, creative again, to start making progress again. So if you want to learn the 10 tips, just keep watching. But before we jump into the video, if you're new to this channel, first of all, welcome. I'm Sandra, and on this channel you'll find weekly videos that'll help you be more productive, that'll help you just improve your overall life. So if you vibe with that, make sure to hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it so that you can be notified of every new video. Let's start with tip number 1, and that is to expect bad days. I mean, we live in an ever-changing world. Everything around us is always changing. The weather, other people, events, your feelings, your wants, your needs, everything is just constantly evolving and changing. That's just the way of life. Accept the season you're in right now. Accept it for what it is. Know that sometimes you're going to be really motivated. Things are going to be going well. Sales are going to be up. More and more people are going to be subscribing to your channel or your email list or whatever your goal is. Sometimes it's going to go well and other times it's not. But it's not your fault for not feeling motivated. It's just the season. So accept it and then just take the necessary actions to change it, to make it better instead. And the next tips that I'm going to share will help you with that. Tip number 2 is to focus on one thing at a time. I kind of hesitate to talk about this because a lot of people are multi-passionate. They thrive on working on many different projects at a time. And I don't want to take that away from anyone. Saying to focus on one thing at a time seems so limiting, because there are lots of ways to grow a business. There are many different career paths you can choose. There's just so much out there. But there is a time for you to explore, to try new things, to experiment, to see what you like, to see what works, to see what doesn't. But then there must also come a time for you to finally pick one thing to give all your attention to. And that way you're not as overwhelmed, as frustrated with too many things going on. And that's what leads you to feel unmotivated, being overwhelmed by too many things. So have fun exploring, have fun trying new things, and then pick one thing that you are going to use the power of focus on and stick to that. Once you master that, once that one thing becomes an automatic process for you where you can do it without even thinking, or once you get to a point where you can hire other people to help you, either one of those, once you get there, then you can add more things to your list of things to do. But try to, as much as possible, use this tip for new habits, for new goals, or even daily tasks that you do every day. Do it one at a time. Tip number 3 is to do something that excites you. Here is a fact. This video right here will probably end up making me $2 to $3 a month. That's how much money I will make off of this video. It takes me a long time to record it, to edit it, to think about what I'm gonna say, to outline the script and everything else that needs to be done. I'm not doing this necessarily because it brings in a lot of money. I'm doing it because I'm excited to do it. I love making these videos. It makes me be more comfortable on camera. I'm working on my public speaking, and when I teach what I'm learning, I feel like I internalize it better for myself. So these videos help me as much as they help you, and I'm excited to make them, even though they may not get a lot of views or make a lot of money. So you have to do the same thing for you. YouTube is not the only way to do content marketing. You can also write on a blog. If you like photography, try Instagram. If you're an artsy person that loves to do DIYs and stuff like that, try Pinterest for your business. Whatever excites excites you, do that. So whether it's in business or in your life, like if you're trying to lose weight, do exercises that you like. If you like dancing, do that. If you like running, do that. Whatever it is that you're trying to improve in your life and be motivated for, make sure it's something that excites you, or else you're never going to be motivated to do it. Tip number 4 is to study people's humble beginnings. It's almost impossible for us not to compare ourselves to others while we're looking through people's YouTube videos, social media accounts, through all the successes that they post on social media and stuff like that. When we see people post about things that we want for ourselves, we can start feeling like we're not at their level and we will never be. By far, comparison is one of the things that saps your motivation the most. But doing that to yourself, comparing yourself to others, is so unfair. Because if you're just beginning on your journey, of course, your life, your achievements will not compare to that one person who's been in the industry for 10 years or more. But as I said, even with great intentions, sometimes it's impossible to fall into that negative thinking pattern of people who are more successful than us, who are higher than us, thinking that it's unachievable, like we can't get there like they did. So 2 things that really help me in these situations. The first thing that really helps me is to remind myself that they have their story and I have mine. And I say that because I truly feel this way. There are many ways to get to the same end result. If you want to be a successful New York Times best-selling author, there are more than one way to get there. Everyone who's achieved that goal before got there in different ways. They all have their unique story. You don't know what other people have been through that you see online. You don't know all the stage work that they've put in to arrive to where they are now. You only see what's put out there. So just understand that you have your story and they have theirs, and just because they don't look the same, that doesn't make it any different. You're still on the right path. You can still be successful if you stop comparing yourself to others, because that will unmotivate you to keep going. The second thing that really helps me is looking at my idols' humble beginnings. So when you see people where they are now, it's hard to believe that you can get there. But when you look at their very first YouTube video, their very first book, their very first blog post, when you look at that, you can see the progression, and that will really motivate you to keep going, because if they can do it, you can do it too. When you look at people's humble beginnings, you can see that you don't have to be perfect to get started. You just have to get started. So I recommend you do those 2 things. When you find yourself unmotivated and you see other people who have what you want, remind yourself that they have their story and you have yours. Remind yourself that they started at the bottom just like you did. They already went through their lousy phase, and everyone must go through it. Cross bridges when you get there. This idiom basically means not to worry about possible future obstacles. Deal with them as they arise instead. Now, everything in moderation here. I think that it's really important for you to plan ahead, to plan for possible obstacles ahead of time. What I mean is the people who have the tendency to overplan, to overthink, to worry so much about things that may or may not happen. If you're constantly replaying these negative thoughts in your head and stressing and worrying about things, you're not going to feel motivated to do the things that need to be done to accomplish your goal. What I recommend you do instead is break down your goal, your project, your habit, whatever it is that you need motivation for. Break it down into small bite-sized chunks and make an outline, a map, if you will, that will guide you as you accomplish this thing you want to accomplish. For example, if I wanted to write a book, then I will go and do an outline of everything that needs to be done, and I'll put that list in order, in the order that it needs to be done. So I need to pick a topic, research the topic, come up with a title, order the book cover, and there are many other little steps that go in between that, but to keep it simple, let's just say that's the final outline. Then I would go and I'd start working working on each step at a time. Now, the idea here is to not worry about step number 10 when you're still on step number 1, trying to figure out what your book is going to be about. Then you shouldn't be looking to see how you're going to self-publish it or how you're going to pick up an agent or any of that. What you need to do is start with step 1. Cross bridges as you get there, or else you won't feel motivated to do anything because you're so worried about things that could happen. So take it one step at a time, break your goals down, and just focus on the step in front of you. Tip number 6 is to keep a motivation stash. We all have something called a negative bias, which basically just means that people tend to pay more attention to and focus more on negative things than positive things. That is why the news are so popular. That is why we like to research and read on and watch the news about anything that could possibly harm us. Now, people say this is because that's the way we stay safe. It's kind of like a security mechanism that we have where if something is going to impact us in a negative way, we want to be able to react to it quickly. There has been countless studies done on this topic. If you want to read more about it, I will leave an article linked down in the description. In that article, it proves that our brain reacts more strongly to things that it thinks is negative than versus positive things. So if you want to read more about it, check out the link down below. But all that to say that when you're not motivated, when you're feeling uninspired, your brain is not going to think about the positive things in your life. It's not going to count for the things that are going well. It's not going to put that into the equation. It's totally going to bypass all the things that you've done successfully. So it's up to you to remind yourself of it. When you're in a rut and you're not motivated to do the work that you need to do, that's when you need to pull out a motivation stash. And a motivation stash is basically just a place where you're going to keep all the things that inspire you. Maybe quotes by your idols, by your role models. Maybe positive comments you've gotten on your videos or reviews you've gotten. Store all that into one place so that you can look at it when you're not feeling the best. This can be just a box where you print out quotes that inspire you, stories that have motivated you, or maybe on a phone in an Evernote app, or you can just create a folder or on a computer. Have somewhere where you store everything that uplifts you, those songs that get you going, those passages from a book that just inspired you, quotes, successes, clients you've signed on, positive comments from clients. Anything that you can think of, just store it in one place and look over this when you're not feeling motivated. Tip number 7 is to track your progress. This tip here is especially important for those goals that take a very long time to accomplish. When you're working on a goal that's going to take a long time and you don't have that immediate positive feedback, you can start to lose motivation real quickly. Like if you're trying to start a YouTube channel, you want to grow a YouTube channel, it's going to take a lot of videos published consistently to start seeing a steady increase. Authors will write books for years without ever knowing what the public will think. So when you're working on those type of goals, those type of habits, it's so easy to be unmotivated to keep going when you're not even seeing the results. So the way around this is to make sure that you track your progress. And by this, I mean at least once a week, sit down and dissect everything. How are your numbers? How is your channel growing? How are your analytics? Are things increasing or decreasing? Look at all this information and also make sure to pay special attention to the things that are going well. As I said, don't let that negative bias get you and only focus on the bad things. Although it's good to focus on those as well and to make a plan to improve. But I feel that when you're checking in with your progress at least once a week, you feel more motivated to keep going, to keep improving, as opposed to like if you didn't know how anything was going, you just didn't see the progress, you'd feel so unmotivated to keep going. Tip number 8 is to create a motivating environment. We are a product of our environment. I was recently watching a Marie TV interview with a journalist called Dan Buettner. He's mostly known for speaking up on this very topic, how your environment affects your health, your wealth, and just your overall happiness. He made me really understand how environment affects us on a soul level. I really recommend you watch that interview. I'll leave it linked down in the description, but I feel like that just made it make so much sense for me. He really found that in certain countries, people are much more happier, and it's all because of the way their environment is set up. So if you're feeling unmotivated lately, take a look at your environment. How can you switch it around, reorganize, redecorate things? And also, I feel like environment also consists of the people around your life. So who do you need to cut ties with? If someone is bringing negative vibes into your life, maybe it's time to let them go or stop sharing your goals and dreams with them if they don't support them. As much as possible, try to keep your environment, and that's your physical space and the people around you, the most motivating and positive it can be, so that you can be motivated yourself. Tip number 9 is to switch up your routine. This is actually something that I'm so excited to do in the near future. Now that the kids are back to school, I have the luxury of going to go switch up my routine and try working in new places like the library or Starbucks or something like that. I feel like routines and habits are so useful because they conserve your willpower. Once habits become automatic, something that you do without even thinking, they don't take up that much of your willpower because it's done automatically. So it's good for that reason, but it's also bad because you become accustomed to it. You become comfortable in your own little bubble and you don't take risks, you don't try new things, and so you don't grow. So if you're feeling unmotivated, try to switch up your routine somehow. Maybe you can try a different morning routine, try a different exercise routine, work from a new place, try doing something different to switch up the vibe a little bit so that you can become inspired again and motivated again. Tip number 10, just get started. This is the final advice that I'll leave you with when it comes to motivation, and it's really the best advice I have, and that is to just get started. One of my favorite speakers is Mel Robbins, and her core message is that motivation is garbage. We're all just sitting around waiting for somebody to shake us up, to wake us up, and motivate us to get work done. But that is never going to happen, because the truth is that you must do something first, and then you'll be motivated. So make that your mantra moving forward. When you feel unmotivated, just tell yourself, just get started. If you want to start working out, don't think about the 7 days a week. Don't think about working out for the next 6 months. Just think about the next 5 minutes. Set a timer and work out for 5 minutes. That is all. If you want to write a book, don't think about the entire book. Just write the next sentence, the next chapter. That's how things get done, a little at a time. So just get started. Don't sit around waiting for motivation. Get the work done and let motivation come find you. All right, and that concludes this video. I really hope it wasn't too long for you. Let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below. Which tip that I mentioned was your favorite? For me, I have to say number 10, just get started. That's been my mantra for a long time now, and it's really helped. Let me know yours down in the comments below. If you did like this video, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button, and also hit that share button down below and send this video over to a friend who may need it. And that's all for today. I thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out for more videos, and I'll see you next time.